The Adventure of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain Longman Simplified English Series read by ทฐา ประสงค์สุข Chapter 18 How could you be so noble? There was something about Aunt Polly's manner when she kissed Tom and swept away this feeling of depression. He set off for school and has for luck from Miss Banking-Datter. When he was happy, she could never be angry with anyone, and so he said, begging, I behaved very badly today, and I'm so sorry. Let us be friends. The girl stopped and looked him scornfully in the face. Please don't speak to me, Mr. Thomas Sawyer. She held up her hand proudly and pressed on. Tom was stunned. He presently saw her in the schoolyard and made a singing remark. She flew on and returned and could hardly wait for school to begin. And impatient was she to see Tom punished for the blankest spelling book. Poor girl, he did not know that she would soon be in trouble herself. The teacher, Mr. Dobbins, has reached middle age, with an unsatisfied ambition. The goal of this research was to be a doctor. But fate has arranged that there should be nothing better than a village schoolmaster. Every day he took a mysterious book out of this desk and studied in a trance. Every pupil in the school was longing in half a look at it, but the chance never came. Now as Begging was passing by the desk, which stood near the door, she noticed that the key was in the lock. It was a special moment. She scratched round, found herself alone all night. Until she had the look in her hands. She noticed and it was possessor, somebody else, and distance. It began to turn the page. At the moment in shadows fell on the page, and Tom Sawyer stepped in at the Becky snatches at the book. Too close it has the misfuture of tear a page. She tossed the book into the disk, turned the key and burst out crying with shame and annoyance. Tom Sawyer, how could you be so hollow? Gifting up to see what you look at. How could I know that you were looking at anything? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You know that you are going to tell her teacher about me. And oh, what shall I do? I will be punished, as I have never been punished in school. And she rushed out of the classroom in the storm of tears. In a few moments, the teacher arrived and the lesson began. Son the spelling book, discovering was made begging truth for a moment of telling about a Fred temple. But the forester himself to him, keep quiet, because he said to himself, she will tell about me, trade me, book. I would say a word, not even to give this life. Tom looked this punishment and went back in this state out and unbroken hearted, for the thought that he might have absent and next on the spelling book himself. Was hour passes by. Then Master Dobbins unlocked his desk and reached for this book, but Sam, undecided whether to take it out or leave it. Most of the pupils gasped up their lives, but they were not who watched his movement caused it. Mr. Lobis figures his book thoughtfully for a time, then took it out and setting himself in his chair to read. Tom getting at Becky. The expressions on her face made him forget his quarrel with her. Quick, something must be done. He would run and snatch the book, spring through the door and fly. But his test was lost. The teacher had opened the book. The next moment the face did school. His thoughts made even the innocent temple. There was a silence which was my content. Then he spoke. Who taught this book? There was no sound. One could have had a pin doubt. The teacher searched face after face for signs of quiet Benjamin Locust. Didn't you tear this book? The denotes another push. Joseph Harper, didn't you? Another detail denote. Tom. And Agnes gives as the teachers explained the role of boys, considered for a moment and then turned to the girl. Amy Lawrence, the snake of the head, dresses Melilla, the same side. Susan Harper, didn't you know it? Another negative, and next girl was begging danger. Tom was trembling for hands to float with estimates and a sense of a hopelessness of the situations. Rebecca Dasher, Tom glanced at the face. It was white with treasure. Didn't you tear? No, look me in the face. Did you tear this book? She thought short like lightning thought. Tom ran crisply to his feet and thought, I did it. Pupils stared astounded at Tom's footlightness. When he stepped forward to his punishment, the vice graduate, the worship that poured upon him out the backing eyes Samly was enough for hundreds. Whispering, he looked without a murmur the most severe punishment that even Mr. Robin has even given. Tom went on, bet that my pending evidence against a friend Temple for giving bait had taught him all, but even longing for revenge had to give way some to pretending thought that he felt as slave, as large with banking words tilted in his ear. Tom, how could you be so noble?